Hello, hello. Welcome. Today we're going to start in a seated position. So just get into a comfortable spot on your mat and figure out which leg you might want in front, or if you'd like to get a little more fancy, maybe you can come into half lotus or maybe even full lotus. Who knows? Maybe you could practice this over the summer to get yourself into that position. No worries, whatever position works for you is perfect. So just let the sit bones drop down. See if you can keep that head nice and light above the neck, keeping the shoulders open as well. But then close your eyes and just feel the breath entering and exiting the body. This time is an opportunity for you to just allow some release from the day, a release from yesterday, and a release from the worry about tomorrow. So just stay present here and notice the breath. Notice the belly and the rib cage expanding and then contracting with that inhale and exhale. So just keeping the eyes closed, we're going to bring our hands to heart center. And if your eyes happen to be a little bit open, just take the gaze down towards those fingers. So we're going to do a little breath exercise together. And it's just going to be some quick inhales and then one big exhale. So we'll count 3 inhales through the nose. And then on your exhale, open the mouth and let everything go. Okay? So just keeping that gaze down or keeping your eyes closed, we'll start. So nice big exhale, let the breath go, and then exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Inhale. Exhale. And then nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Great. So let's just open the arms out to the side. We're going to inhale, lift the arms up overhead. And exhale, bring those hands back to heart center. Inhale again, open. Exhale, bring the hands down. Open and lift. Exhale, take the hands down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, take the hands down and take that gaze back towards the fingers. Good. Just lift the gaze and then we'll switch the feet so the other one's in front. And we're going to reach the hands out to the side, bend the elbows and take the hands behind the head. So you can clasp the fingers or you can just gently have the fingers on the back of your head. Now let's see if we can open up the heart a little bit, reaching those elbows out to the side. Stay grounded through the legs, and then just lean over to the right. So you're not lifting that left glute or hip, you're just leaning over, reaching that right elbow down towards the mat, and then come on back up again, and then lean the left elbow over to the left, reaching that right elbow up and the left one down, and then come back to center. Let's just do one more each side, leaning over to the right, breathing, keeping that heart open to the front, and lift yourself up, and then lean over to the left. Good, lifting that elbow, dropping the left elbow, and then coming back up again. And let's release the arms. And just roll the shoulders. Good. And just taking your hands back to your knees, keep the shoulders soft, and just take the gaze over that right shoulder. See if you can take the eyes way over to the right corners of the eyes. Good, and then come back to center and just take the gaze over to the left. Again, taking those eyes as far as you can to the left corners of the eyes. Try to keep breathing. Come back to center, over to the right again. Reaching the chin over towards that right shoulder as you look to the right. And then come back to center. Chin over to the left shoulder, taking the gaze left. And breathe. Good, and come back to center. Nice, just drop the left ear over to the left shoulder just for a moment to get a little stretch. See if you can drop down this right shoulder at the same time. And then lift up and drop the right ear over to the right shoulder, dropping that left shoulder down. Awesome, and come back up again. Good, nice. Let's take the left leg out in front and bring that right foot into the left thigh. Taking the hands forward, lifting the chest up, and then bending your elbows to come forward. Good. Let's use our breath. So nice deep inhale. And then on your exhale, lean forward. Good. Inhaling, lifting up. And exhale, leaning forward. So you're keeping this left leg active, toes pointing up. Inhale again. And exhale, lean forward. Good. Breathe here, really dropping those sit bones down, lifting the heart forward, reaching out through the top of your head. Good, and then walk the hands back up, bring the legs together and shake them out. And we'll do the same on the other side. This left foot comes into the right thigh. Lift yourself up. And then bend the elbows and lean over the right leg. Good. Nice. Lengthen. Feel the length. You might feel some real opening in that hamstring. Toes pointing up. Exhale, bend the elbows and lean towards the leg. Good. Inhale, lift up and lean forward. Now, really think about those sit bones dropping down. The shoulders staying open and the energy reaching out through the top of the head. Breathe here. Good. Nice. Awesome. And bring yourself back up again. And you can just shake out those legs a little. Okay, let's come over to tabletop position. So on to all fours here, spreading the fingers, keeping the knees just under the hips. Nice. So we're just going to lean a little bit forward. We're going to take the chest towards the hands and then take those hips back. Reach the fingers forward and then this time pull yourself forward again. Maybe you can drop the hips a little bit and then drop the hips back. Let's reach the fingers forward again. Come forward with the chest. Drop the hips, maybe opening the shoulders, opening up the heart. and then taking those hips back. Now just stay here for a moment. So your hips aren't quite back on your heels. You're reaching those fingers forward and getting lots of length here. Good. So now let's come up to our tabletop again, and we're going to come into a similar position called puppy pose. So we're going to keep our hips just above the knees. So keeping this kind of tabletop position, we're going to do what we just sort of did. You're going to walk the hands away from you, but keep the legs in the same position. And you're going to drop the heart down towards the floor. So you can either take the chin to the floor, or maybe you drop the forehead, and feel free to rest your head on a block or a cushion. You've got lots of curve in the back as you drop the heart down, and really feel some opening across the upper back and in the armpits. But again, the legs are staying in place, and see if you can even make sure that your 10 toes are on the ground. Breathe into it and feel some opening here. Good. Nice. And then just bring yourself back up to that tabletop position. We're going to tuck our toes and come into downward dog just for a moment. So let the head be relaxed. Send the weight into the legs. And then let's take the gaze forward and bring our feet towards the hands. Good. Let's fold. So keep your knees soft as you drop the head down. And you can even take a moment here to just shake the head side to side a little bit. Maybe wiggle the hips slightly. Now we're going to bend the knees and drop the hips down. And then lift ourselves up into Utkatasana, or chair pose. So let's lift ourselves up, and your hands might come to your hips, or you may be able to lift the arms right overhead and hold this position. Bring those triceps forward slightly, take the gaze up, send that tailbone back, those glutes back as if you're sitting in a chair. Good. Now you're going to come down again, taking the hands down towards the floor, and we're going to take the right foot back and then drop the knee, untucking the toes. Let's keep the right hand on the floor inside this left foot, and we're going to lift up into a twist. So lift that arm up to the ceiling. You can take the hips back if you're feeling a little bit tight in the hips, or you can deepen if you want to go a little bit farther into the hip stretching. Try not to sink into the shoulder. Lift yourself way up, way up, way up. Good. Let's take the gaze down. Take the hand down. Let's bring the right foot forward. Inhale again. Exhale and fold. And then we're going to bend the knees and come back into that Utkatasana, or chair pose. So lift the arms up again. Breathing here. Good. So we have another side. So let's come forward, taking the hands down. Good. You can fold forward, lift up, take this left foot back now, drop the knee, and keep this left hand on the floor on the inside of the right foot. Okay? Let's lift the right arm up towards the ceiling now into this twist. Again, you can send those hips back if you need, or you can really drop down to get into them a little bit deeper. Try not to sink into that left shoulder, but lift up towards the ceiling and breathe here. Really nice. Good. Good. Let's look down, take the hand down, tuck those back toes, bring the foot forward, inhale. And exhale, fold again. Now let's bend the knees, come back into our chair pose, reaching up, and then this time straightening the legs and taking the hands down by the sides. Good job. And just enjoy a little bit of a shoulder roll here to release. Good. Let's keep our feet, or take our feet nice and wide. Coming into a pose called Parsvakonasana, or extended side angle pose. So they're fairly wide. We're going to turn the left toes in, right toes out, and we're going to bend this right knee as if we're coming into warrior two. You want to keep this knee above the heel so that you're not extending and putting too much pressure on that knee. The weight goes down through the center. Keep the torso, the heart facing forward, and see if you can keep that gaze forward. Now let's lift the arms, and we're just going to lean over to that right leg and take the left arm over the ear. Good, breathing here. So reach out, lift that head up towards the arm and open up the heart. Breathing, keeping some weight in that left heel. Breathing here, really nice. Good, and then come on back up. Take the hands to the hips, straighten the right leg, turn the right toes in and the left toes out, and we'll bend that knee so it's just above the heel. And again, turn the torso to the front, okay? Opening up the arms again. Let's lean over to the left, taking the arm to the leg and reaching the arm over. You should feel a really nice stretch from the fingers all the way down to that heel. Opening up the heart, opening up that shoulder, breathing, feeling the opening, feeling the length. Nice, good, and come on back up again. Hands to the hips, straighten the leg, turn the foot in, and then you can just heel toe the feet together and release. Nice. Okay, we're going to do a little balance here. So if you need a wall, feel free to use it. Otherwise, we're going to take our hands to the hips. Let's keep the weight in the left foot. We're going to lift up the right knee, bend the bottom knee, and take the right foot across the leg. Okay? Keep thinking about opening up this right knee. Bring your hands to heart center, and you might want to keep a focus in front of you that's not looking at the screen, just to keep that focus and keep that balance. If you have a gentle pressing in of the hands, that will help with some balance as well. Good. Let's lower down a little bit. Just try to send the glutes back and lean forward towards the leg. You might stay here, you might stay up higher, or you may be able to even take the hands to the floor. Good, breathing, maybe looking down, or maybe dropping the head down. So just stop wherever it feels good for you, but feel that really nice opening in the hip and the glute. Try to keep the right foot flexed, curling the toes back. Now if you're already all the way down, lift your head, and then see if you can pull yourself back up to that balance, and then release and let go. Nice. Same on the other side. So again, you might need the wall, you might not. Good. Weight into the right leg. Hands on the hips. Let's lift up the left knee, bend the bottom knee, take this foot across. So toes curling back, really opening up this left knee, and then bring your hands together at heart center and breathe. Keeping the focus forward. Trying to keep the balance. A little bit of pressure between the hands can really help bring both sides of the brain together to hold you in balance. And then you might want to try leaning forward. So sending those hips back, sending the glutes back, leaning forward towards the leg. You might stay there, or you might take the hands to the floor. Maybe you have blocks under your hands, and maybe you even drop the head. Breathe here. Feel the opening in the hip. Feel the breath. Allowing some release. Take your time. Take a few breaths here. And then lift the head back up. Good. Lift yourself back up to that balance. And then release. Nice job. And just swing slightly back and forth. All right, let's come back to the fronts of our mats. We're going to really reach up overhead. So grounding down through the feet, lifting those hands nice and high. And then let's lean forward all the way into a forward fold. Inhale, lift the head. And we're going to take one foot back, and we're going to take the other foot back to our tabletop position. Good. So now we're just going to try a little pose that you can use a block for if you need to. We're going to scoot the right knee behind the left one, and you can open up the feet here. And if you need a block, you can sit on a block as you take yourself back. So your legs are crossed, the left knee's above the right one. So you can just hold on to that knee, lift yourself up, and you can hold here. If you want to do a little bit more, take your hands in front of your ankles and lean forward. Try to keep that left sit bone down. Breathing here. Good. Again, getting a little bit into the hips. Nice. And lift yourself up. And let's come back to our tabletop position. Just releasing that foot and maybe just wriggling out those hips a bit. So again, you can have a block, you can have two blocks, you can have 3 cushions, you can have whatever you need if you need to sit on something in this position. Good, so other side, take the right foot behind the left one, I think that's right, and come back, no, it's the other way, come back to a seated position and hold on to your knee. So again, you might be sitting on something or you might be on the ground. Now pull yourself forward just gently. Lift the heart up a little bit. And if you want to stay here, stay here. If you want to go further, if you take the hands in front of your ankles, you'll be able to hold the feet in place and then lean forward slightly. Think about drawing that right sit bone and hip down towards the mat. Breathe here. Ah, good. Nice, nice, nice. And then come on back up again. And let's come back to our tabletop position. Good. And we're just going to come into a kneeling position. Okay, we're going to come into a little bit of a challenge, and it's dolphin pose. So again, you go into it as far as you like. I'm just going to tuck in my shirt a little. And we're going to come forward onto our forearms and then lift up into this dolphin pose. It's a nice prep for headstand if you're moving in that direction. But also it's just really good for strengthening in the shoulders and getting some opening in the legs. Okay? So let's come down onto our mats. We're going to bring our palms together, and I want you to bring your elbows in. So you don't want this, you want this, which is more of a secure position. Secure base for this pose. Now, I want you to bring your knees up towards the elbows. Press into your forearms and lift that upper back. Okay, so you're not sinking into the shoulders. Now let's tuck our toes, and you're going to lift the seat up as if you're going into downward dog. So you can walk the feet forward if you like, and then take the weight back into the legs. Keep your knees bent if you need, but keep that head nice and loose, just hovering above the mat. Breathing here, feeling some opening in the shoulders, in the calves, possibly in the hamstrings. Just breathe here. Good. Let's take the knees down, and then you can open up into child's pose. So just take your hands forward and drop down, just in a nice relaxed position. Nice deep breaths, really sending the breath down to this lower back area. Nice, long, even breaths. Good. And let's lift the head back up. Good. Bring the knees towards the hands, cross the legs, and we're going to sit back and then come all the way down onto our backs. Ah, nice. Just take your arms overhead and bring the knees up to the chest. You can just sort of rock them side to side here a little. Good. And then we're going to come into a little bit of a twist. So let's drop those knees over to the side. Reach the right arm away from you. The left hand can be on the leg if you like. And take the gaze over that right shoulder and just feel a nice opening here in this twist. Breathing and breathing. Good. Let's lift the knees back up to center. Drop them over to the right this time. Reach that left hand away from you so you can really feel some opening along the left side and along the hip. Taking the gaze over the left shoulder. Breathing. Good. Let's come back to center again. Okay, from this position, we're just going to take our feet down and take our hands by the hips. And we're just going to do a couple of hip lifts here. So we're going to press down through the feet and the hands. And let's just do a little tuck of the tailbone. So you can just feel a little bit of the glutes coming off the ground and then lower back down again and release the glutes. Okay, it's a tiny movement. So pressing down into the feet and the hands, just curl again, lifting that tailbone and then lowering down and releasing. It's a pretty small movement. Now we're going to get a little bit higher now. So press the feet and the hands down into the ground. Tuck first with that tailbone and then lift the hips up a little bit higher. Think about the knees moving towards the toes and the neck getting a little bit longer. So these shoulders are opening away from the ears. And make sure you breathe here. Just keep the breath going through all the poses. Nice, slowly come down onto the mat and let everything go. We're going to come up into it again. So press down, curl that tailbone, lift the glutes slightly, then lift the hips a little bit higher. This time you might scoot the elbows and the shoulders under a bit more. Breathing, sending the knees towards the toes and lengthening through the neck. Breathe, 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 and slowly come down. And we're going to do one more. So you can do it the same way or you can add the arms I'm going to show you in a moment. So pressing down, curl that tailbone, lift up a little bit, and then lift up the hips. And then see if you can scoot those shoulders and elbows in more, maybe holding onto the hands. So you come into a bit of chest expander here. Pressing down into the floor. Again, those knees moving away, lengthening through the neck, opening the shoulders. And of course, you're continuing to breathe. Good. Nice long breaths. And lower yourself down. Really nice. Good. Let's just hug one knee into the chest. And just lift up the foot. We'll come into a half happy baby. So holding onto the foot inside or out. Opening up that knee nice and wide and dropping the knee down by the armpit, down towards the floor. Good, and just feel a little resistance between the hand and the foot. So you're pressing the foot up, but you're pulling it down at the same time. If you want, you can lengthen through that left leg and just feel a little more opening along the front of the hip. Good, breathing and releasing. Bend this left knee again, and let's just switch. So, bringing that left knee in towards the chest, holding onto the left foot, inside or outside of the foot. Dropping that knee nice and wide and down towards the floor. And just feel a little bit of resistance between the foot and the hand again. Pressing up, but pulling down at the same time. Feel free to stay here. Or if you want, lengthen that right leg
And keep the opening in that right hip happening. Breathing here. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. Now release the leg. Just do a nice long stretch. And if you like, you can bend your knees and keep the feet flat on the floor for Shavasana. Or you can keep the legs straight. Or maybe you can even take the legs up a wall and just let them rest there, allowing the lower back to release.
Whatever position you're in, just allow yourself to really sink down, to absorb the sensations from the practice. And just again, notice the breath flowing smoothly in and out of the body. You might notice some calming from the head all the way down to the feet. I encourage you to stay for as long as you like. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you like. Enjoy the rest, enjoy the letting go. And thank you once again for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.